Hello and welcome. So we're now halfway through the year and I have managed to make a video every week. And I'm really quite surprised that I managed to keep it up. I have kind of, instead of making one video each week, I've sort of built up a few ideas and then recorded two or three in one go. So I don't feel like I have to be doing something all the time. I kind of build myself up a little stock of videos. I do have another couple that I have already filmed, which will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. After that, there might be a break in my uploads because myself and my wife are moving house. And I think I have managed to cover enough time to get settled into the new place and find a new sort of recording corner or whatnot. But there might be a bit of a break because I haven't had any more ideas in the meantime, or I've not done any research or collated any information or anything. So there might be a bit of a gap while I record some more before another one comes up. But we'll see how things go. If incidentally you have any ideas on things you'd like me to talk about, please let me know. Either send me a message or put it in the comments, whichever you prefer, and I will consider any idea, but I won't necessarily do all of them if I get any suggestions at all. So this video is everything that I made in May, so let's get straight into it. So the first thing that I finished in May was a little mat to put under the keyboard that I have at my desk when I'm working from home. So the keyboard that I'm using is this wireless one, and it's a really nice big chunky keyboard, and it did have feet on it. This one's there, that one's gone, and I much prefer it when my keyboard has a bit of an angle to it. So, like with a lot of problems that I have, I thought, how can I fix this with yarn? So I basically just made a really big square, and then I rolled it so that this bit was like a cushion, and then I sewed it along so that it stays in place. It sticks out a little bit underneath the keyboard, and I had kind of wanted to make it fold up over the bottom, but there isn't really anywhere that I could attach that to neatly. So it just sticks out a little bit underneath, but it's nice. I have a similar sort of thing in my one in the office, but it's not got a cushion on it because the keyboard sits at the right angle. I've made more than four, to be frank, of these cat mats. So I have usually got a lot of DK yarn lying around, and I wanted to find a way to use up a lot of this yarn whilst also doing something helpful. Um, One of the people I work with has been working with or volunteering with a cat charity for quite a while, and they do tabletop sales, bring and buy sales, little day events and things to raise money for them. And I thought, well, a nice way to help them is to make things for cats to sell to people who like cats and who have them. So it's just about this, they're about this big, if I can get my hands in frame. They're about this big, and great for a regular size or a small size cat to sit on. Um, might be fine for a larger cat if they like to cinnamon roll quite a lot. I have made more than four of these, but these are kind of the first four that I made. And they don't take very long because I hold two strands of the DK yarn together and use a larger crochet hook. So they're a bit denser, but they use up a lot more yarn and they work up quite quickly. So if you are wanting to practice your granny squares, this is probably a good one to do. And if you've got a cat, they'll have something to sit on. If you don't have a cat, you can give it to someone who does. This is a second pair of socks for my mum. The first pair I finished in April, and this one I finished in May. Mum will be getting these for Christmas. I really like this yarn. I have got some left over. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it because I don't think I've quite got enough to make a sock or a pair of socks. Maybe one sock, perhaps, but I might make something different. A lot of my yarn is in storage at the moment or packed away ready to move. So I haven't got an awful lot of yarn to hand. But once we're in the new place and I've kind of got things squared away, I will pull things out and see what I've got and what I can make with things. I probably will make a lot more cat mats in the future because I just know I've got a lot of DK yarn in our storage locker. So I can use it all up quite quickly. This is a cardigan that I made for myself. This is made with Cotton Kings Sultan Shadow 14, which I don't know if it's emerald green or something like that. It goes from light greenish through dark green to black. I bought this yarn from Hobby, but I bought it before the kind of like the AI thing that happened recently. I'm not a big fan of AI. I don't know if I've said that on a video before, but I'm not a fan of AI. I will avoid using it at all costs. Thankfully, my job doesn't require me to use it, so I'm quite happy with that state of affair in regards to AI. But anyway, I unfortunately this is my favorite yarn. I want to make more cardigans and things with this yarn because it's a nice, light, soft yarn that's great for making light cover up things for the summer because a lot of my cardigans are made with acrylic or very thick yarn, and I wanted something that still covers my arms but doesn't doesn't make me feel like I want to peel my own skin off because I'm so warm. So I have actually found a couple of other yarns that I can use to make other things. I've got 2 cardigans on the go at the moment, like light summery ones in the other yarns. I may very well see if I can buy yarns of people who are willing to trade and sell. I know on Ravelry they have people with their stocks. Again, because I'm moving house, I'm not going to look into it just yet. But if you happen to have any of the Cotton Kings Sultan, any of the colorways that you have in your stash and you're willing to part with, I will pay for them. Obviously, I'm not expecting anything for free. Please reach out and I will get back in touch with you because I want this yarn, but I also don't want to give money to Hobby, or at least not at the moment. They may change their ways, and I may change my mind on that, but for the moment, I don't want to give them money. It's just unfortunate that this yarn is one of their like own brand yarns, and it's a really nice yarn. This is a 5th cat mat that I made, and I'm happy with how it turned out. I had hoped to make it all red, but I didn't have quite enough yarn to do the whole thing in red, so I did one more row in like bluey charcoal. So I wanted to make some more stim toys because I made the fidget pebble and I wanted something that was a bit more of a click rather than a crunch. And I saw that someone else had made something similar to this with a hair clip in it. I don't have any hair clips, like loose hair clips to hand for obvious reasons. If you're watching this, obvious reasons why I don't have any hair clips to hand. Uh, um, but I had a little try around with how to do the outside of it, and then the one that I was happy with isn't actually that one. I think, yes, I've written it here. If I make more, it'd be 26 stitches and 5 rounds. It gives a little bit more room for it to move around inside if it needs to. Um, I don't think I'm going to make any more of these just yet because I now have like 4 because I did some practice ones. Um, but I'm quite happy with how it turned out. And if I want to make more in the future to give away or to sell or what have you, I know how I'm going to do it. This blanket was almost my nemesis. So last year or early last year, my sister-in-law was pregnant with my niece and she'd asked for a set of Winnie the Pooh and friends, and she found the pattern and sent it over to me. It was like a pattern book with all the different ones in, and the yarn that I used to make them was a chenille yarn, and I hate working with chenille. Like, it feels lovely and soft when you make something out of it, but to actually work with it, it's I just don't. It doesn't work well for me. Like, the fibers come loose a little bit when you're working it. If you move it too much, it will fluff and fall apart. Um, the one thing I do like about it though is because it's acrylic and the way that it's made, you can kind of melt the 2 ends of colours to melt them together, so you don't end up with having to weave in ends, which again is difficult with this kind of yarn because it's so fluffy. So in a bid to get rid of more stuff before I move house, I found it in the box that I had hidden it away in and decided to make a bit of a lap blanket. It's not very big. I think I could have done it a little bit narrower so it was a bit longer, but it works well enough to be like a lap cover. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do with it ultimately, but I might just keep it at the office in case anyone's a bit chilly, they can stick it on and warm up a little bit. It's quite heavy, so it's quite nice as a little blanket. Um, but yeah, I avoided using up this yarn for quite a while. And then I made another cat mat. I made this while we were away on holiday. I took a few bits with me to make things in case I got a bit bored, but in all honesty, I didn't do an awful lot of knitting or crocheting while we were away because it was absolutely roasting. And I don't like knitting and crocheting when I'm hot because it just doesn't feel right, especially if the crochet hook or the knitting needles get a bit sweaty. They're hard to work with. So I think I made this on the journey down there or part of the journey down there, and it worked quite well. I'm happy with how it came out, and I used. I didn't really want to use these two colors together because I've noticed before when I've made things with it, it kind of gives IKEA, because it's very much that blue and that yellow together. Or I suppose it could be Minions, like their little dungarees and their skin. Um, so yeah, this is another one that's gone over to that charity for the cat. And the last thing that I made is this little sort of neckerchief. I made it with some leftover yarn from that cardigan that I finished at the beginning of the month. It's only this big. It's just a nice little neckerchief, which apparently I've lost the ability to tie now. I don't wear sort of neckerchiefs very often, but if I was going to, this is the one I would wear. It's made of cotton, so it's not all hot and sweaty. Just a little something to sort of keep your neck warm if you're cold. Not that you will be anytime soon, but thank you for joining me. If you would like to find me elsewhere, the link to my link tree is in the doobly doo. Bye for now.